Hello everyone, Amod here from Target Common Tube channel, and today I am with another video in Java Stream concepts. So we were learning interface and then we learn about anonymous class in Java. So the another concept which is important to understand Java Stream methods and concepts, we need to understand what is functional interface. So let me go to Notepad++ and walk you through some definition first. So we know about interface that I have covered in my previous videos. So if you have not watched that video, please go and watch that. Interface is something or a type in Java in which we have abstract methods. Okay, abstract method means methods without any method body or implementation, and we can have some static and default methods which have body. Actually those are not abstract, but any abstract method is something without body. Okay, a method without any body. So what is functional interface? If any interface contains only one abstract method, only one, then that interface can be called as a functional interface. An interface with single abstract method will be called a functional interface, and this concept was implemented in Java 8. And we know that any interface can have default and static methods. Why? Because they have body, they have implementation. Those methods are not abstract methods. So we can have default static method in interface, and also we can have them in functional interface as well. But we can have only one abstract method to some in interface to be called as a functional interface. So if any interface contains only one abstract method, then we can use some special annotation called functional interface. So this interface, or sorry, this annotation called functional interface is an informative annotation type used to indicate that an interface type declaration is intended to be a functional interface as defined by the Java language specification. So let me show you some code so that you can understand this line. So enough theory, let's jump to Eclipse and write some code to understand more about functional interface. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create an interface and I will name it as maybe my functional interface. Okay, so we know that in any interface we can have abstract method. Okay, means that actually we should have abstract method there. Okay, so let me create a public void and add. So I'm not passing any method body, so that's why it should be a interface. So we made a mistake. Instead of creating interface, we created the class. So let me change it to interface. Okay, I should be small. So we have one interface here with one method add. So what the concept of functional interface, that if any interface contains only one abstract method, then that interface can be called as a functional interface. If that is the case, we have one special annotation called functional interface to mark this interface as functional interface. This is optional, this is not mandatory that you should have, but there is some advantage. Functional, see, okay, some typo. Okay, so I use a annotation called functional interface to mark this interface as functional interface here, but I am saying it is optional. So what is the use of it? If you use this annotation, then we cannot have another what do you call that, abstract method inside this. Why? If you mouse over here, it says that invalid add functional interface annotation. My functional interface is not a functional interface here. Why? Because any interface marked as functional interface cannot have more than one abstract method, because that is concept. If you want to call any interface as functional interface, that interface must contain only one abstract method. Then it is not allowing you. If you comment this one, okay, this annotation, it will not throw any error, because in normal interface we can have more than one abstract method. Okay, but if we use this annotation, so strictly we need to follow that it should have only one abstract method. Okay, so let me remove this one, and by default the method will be public in interface, so let me remove this public keyword as well. Okay, so this is the concept of functional interface. Now let's try to implement the functional interface using the anonymous class concept which we learned in previous video. So let me go to package and let me create a class called my implementation. Okay, I am not going to implement the interface here. Instead, what we are going to do, we are going to use the anonymous class concept. Let me create a main method first. So to create an anonymous class, what we need to do, we need to create an object, okay, of the function interface. Not an object, but the syntax we need to do, which we have learned already in my previous video. So let me give some object name, then my function interface. Okay, so let me type instead of using the session as of now. So we need to give the open and curly means parenthesis, and instead of giving the semicolon, since if you give the semicolon it's not valid, right, because we cannot create an object of interface, so we need to use the anonymous class. So for that you need to remove the semicolon and use the open and close curly braces. If you do this one, it says that whatever unimplemented method we have inside my function interface, that is add method, right, add method, we need to give the body to it, right, the same thing which we would have done if we are implementing this interface here, right, which I have already explained in my previous video. Please go and watch if you have not watched that. So now let me mouse over and just use the session add unimplemented method. So you can see this add is coming from my function interface. Now give the whatever body you want to give, you can give, like sys out sum of 2 and 3 is 5, some method, anything I have given. Okay, and since anonymous class is a statement here, so we need to use a semicolon. Okay, now use the my dot add. Okay, if I run this program, it will run perfectly fine. Okay, we can say sum of 2 and 3 is 5. So the concept we cover, what is function interface and how can we use the anonymous class concept to implement the function interface method. This is going to use a lot in Java HTML concepts, okay, which we'll see in upcoming videos. So if you have any doubt, please comment on this video. If you really like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe and share with others. Thank you everyone.